What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 discussion video, where today we're going to be tearing into the expert missions of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and further discussing as to what we want to see in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. Now, I'm going to go off on a limb and say this. The concept behind the expert missions idea in Xenoverse 2 is fantastic. We had several missions that really put us on our toes, and I firmly felt like as we kept on progressing, the missions did get better and better, but over time, it literally did not present any sort of challenge whatsoever, especially for those who want to rally up a group of friends and go off and play together. I felt as if most of these expert missions were pretty much mediocre, and the idea that at first you have to face these missions alone, but as soon as you find a group of friends, the minute you gather people together and you begin to tackle these missions together, everything seems to become very easy as you progress on forward. And I'm going to give you an example. Expert mission number 1 and 2, which were tutorials, were absolute trash. Assault of the Great Ape, expert mission number 3, trash. Invasion of the evil Super Namekian, trash. The Galactic Tyrant, trash. The Depths of Despair, trash. The Big Yeti Star Strikes Back, trash. The Ominous Androids, absolute trash. The Most Feared Majin, which was ultimately beginning to present some level of difficulty, ultimately became trash. The Emperor's Worth actually was pretty decent, but in the end, as soon as you gather up a couple of players, became trash. The Devil Born from the Dragon Balls, which included Omega Shenron ultimately using Ultra Instinct and dodging your ass every single time you try to attack him, was good. Why? Because it presented a challenge. Expert mission number 12, Attack of the Lone Super Soldier, trash. Expert mission number 13, A History of Mixed Battles, okay. Expert mission number 14, Huge Blast for Huge Apes, trash. Number 15, Extreme Malice, the absolute best expert mission this game had to offer. Why? We're gonna get into that a little later on. Expert mission number 16, In the Realm of the Gods Vegeta, good. Expert mission number 17, In the Realm of the Gods Goku, good. Expert mission number 18, The Ultimate Evil Broly, good. And at long last, expert mission number 19, A Truly Hellish Transformation, good. Now let's talk about this. Why is it that only 4 to 5 expert missions out of the 19 presented in this game are deemed to be worthy of playing while the rest are all trash? Well, everything became too easy. Whether playing alone or playing with people, everything became too easy. And to counter this, hopefully enough Bandai can learn from this in adapting and giving us greater challenges for expert missions, as you have to separate what makes a expert mission an expert mission and what makes a parallel quest a parallel quest. Of course, you can often tell the difference as to which is which, but of course the expert mission idea should ultimately be presented to where everything almost feels similar as if you were playing Extreme Malice on every given mission. Your opponents should not be easy, the timer should be extended, and you should be forced to work your team together as a collective unit to further battle on the enemies that are presented in your path. And for anyone out there who has sat through in playing each of the expert missions can tell you that essentially most of these missions became relatively easy until you got near the end. Hopefully enough for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, we're presented with more difficult obstacles in order for us to gather with the community and further facing these missions together. As for an example, can you imagine how epic it would be to participate in some sort of expert mission presented as the Tournament of Power, where as similar to Extreme Malice, you're going to have to defeat all opponents that come in your way, in which even having to tackle an expert mission together as a cohesive unit titled the Strongest in the Multiverse, and having to defeat Ultra Instinct Goku and Jiren at the exact same time, or even having to copy the exact concept of In the Realm of the Gods mission and creating a new challenge called the Ultra Instinct Power of the Gods expert mission, where you're going to have to defeat Ultra Instinct Goku, similar to how you did Goku and Vegeta within the Realm of the Gods mission, except this time either the timer is shortened or Goku is significantly more powerful than anybody in the game combined. In which, talking about concepts, can you imagine having to fight all the Pride Troopers together with an expert mission called the Warriors of Justice Pride Troopers, and having to fight Dispo, Topo, and Jiren at the exact same time? Or let alone similar to the Ultra Instinct Goku mission, imagine having to fight the Ultimate Warrior Jiren as one of the final missions presented in the game and having to defeat him without you or your team having to fail and having to fight this one supreme warrior. And just to clarify, it's not the fact that these are Tournament of Power characters that are being involved, but more or less, since we already know that Dragon Ball Super characters are going to be more or less involved in the next game, why not throw Jiren, Ultra Instinct Goku, and some of the Tournament of Power characters involved, and having to base their characters on the exact same missions we saw in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and having to make them remotely challenging for the user, and not only having to face them alone, but having to gather a group of friends together in which, similar to Extreme Malice, people can go off and say, well, I need help fighting the Pride Troopers. Why? Because they're all so difficult to fight at the exact same time. Extreme Malice made the game that much more enjoyable because it forced everyone to attack one singular character at a time, given the fact that the character itself was not only dodging your attacks, but also their health was ridiculously OP'd. And not only that, if you knew you had everything under control, the next thing you had to worry about was, of course, time. In which, keep in mind, I am not trashing the overall concept behind expert missions, but more or less the difficulty presented, as it made everything seem so easy before you got to expert mission number 15, which was Extreme Malice. In which, going forward, I really hope that the overall expert mission idea concept for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 also offers different perks and rewards each time you complete the mission, because again, I feel as if to separate the parallel quests from the expert missions, they ought to have unique awards for each build and giving us different movesets, different character designs, possibly even character clothing for our own characters to customize with, as the expert mission concept did give us more TP medals as a reward. But I personally feel by titling it expert missions, it ought to present a challenge to where it is formidable when it comes down to completing the task, but the rewards behind it are also 10 times better than having to participate in doing parallel quests or any other form of co-op, as you would understand that the way to get certain things or achieve certain things is to play expert missions. So here's my idea. I personally feel that for the first couple of expert missions, perhaps maybe the first 7, ought to be something nice and easy to settle in, to get the players more accustomed as to what's going to follow, and of course going into the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th mission, things begin to get a little bit more difficult for the player, as the players do understand that perhaps maybe doing things on their own may not be key in survival, as we continue to go into the 14th mission, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and perhaps maybe even 20th mission and beyond, and having everything from there be presented as extremely difficult to where the player has to work with 5 other people just to complete the mission itself. But the rewards ought to be just as great, because the higher you go, the more you get to unlock for your character, the more moves you get to unlock, the more TP medals are earned. Forget the whole 16 TP medal concept. Imagine having to participate in the most difficult expert mission and being possibly rewarded 50 TP medals, or maybe pushing it as much as 100 if of course it's that difficult to complete. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of us, including myself, used to farm on expert mission number 17 in the realm of the gods Goku, and simply having to gang up on him within 60 seconds and massacring him just to gain 16 to 32 TP medals. And of course, even though that's considered to be farming, I still don't see that as being presented as an obstacle for us to overachieve, especially if we're working as a cohesive unit, 6 people having to play one expert mission. And of course, yes, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, as fun as it was as a game, and you cannot deny that, did have its flaws in balancing, in the reward system having to be flawed. There were many other things that were flawed about Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, but you cannot deny that Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 was significantly much better than the original Dragon Ball Xenoverse game, and hopefully for us, the consumers and the fans, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 will be presented as a much better game in fixing these issues, alongside presenting the fans a reason to stay on the game that much longer, because early on during its first few DLCs and its inception, the developers stuck on by fixing the game and listening to the community, but a little after that, they kind of began to die out. So hopefully enough, Xenoverse 3 will present the option of giving us more extreme and more difficult expert missions, not just for the individual themselves, but also presenting that in the form of a collective community, as bringing 6 people on one mission and making it that much more difficult for each individual player as we stick on by together to complete the mission as a team. And for those of you who are unaware or don't know, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 is currently being developed on the low, but that doesn't mean they can't hear us in the idea of us voicing our opinions as to what we would like to see in the upcoming title. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, as I am going to be discussing more or less about Xenoverse 3's expert missions on there, and I would like to get your overall thoughts and feedback as to what you guys would like to see, because as you guys have already seen in this video, I would love to see more or less the Dragon Ball Super characters involved, especially having to see some of the top tier fighters become bosses in the future expert missions. But in the end, I would like to get your thoughts down in the comment section below as to how you guys would fix the expert mission concept. What would you guys include? Do you guys agree or disagree with my pitch? How do you feel about the difficulty for the expert missions? Do you feel as if more rewards ought to be given? Do you believe that more characters ought to be included? What are your overall concepts and ideas for expert missions and expert missions only, as we are going to talk about the story and of course parallel quests in another video. So make sure you guys check out the description box down below for the official Xenoverse 3 playlist. Thank you all so very much for watching. Once again, if you guys are new to the channel and of course love Dragon Ball, don't forget to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button, guys. Turn on all notifications by clicking that bell icon so you guys can be notified whenever I post a video onto this channel. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comments, guys. Take it easy. Peace.